Hey guys, Chris here. In today's video, I'm going to give you guys my first look, my first impressions of the Fisker Ocean. I've just barely seen these on the road. I've never been up and close and personal with any of these, and I've never checked out the interior. I've barely seen photos of this car, and I've done that intentionally because I wanted to give you guys my first fresh impressions of the Fisker Ocean. Now let's start off with the exterior of the Fisker Ocean. And as I said in the intro, I haven't seen these a lot on the streets yet. I haven't seen too many photos. For some reason, it's taken me a little bit of time to, gather some interest around this car. But I have to say, seeing it in person, it is actually a very good looking car. You can see, that this company, Fisker, is run by a car designer, Henrik Fisker from Denmark. So like Polestars, like Volvos and Saabs earlier, this is, typical Scandinavian design where it is simplistic, quite minimalistic, but at the same time, it is very, very interesting with layers and surfaces. And talking about interesting, Fisker has a little bit of fun, a little bit of wordplay with their branding, which I think is pretty cool. And we're gonna get to a lot of stuff in this video. But first off, this exterior is called Planet Blue and the interior is called Mali Blue. Yeah, and also these wheels are called Slipstream with carbon fiber inserts. That is pretty cool. These are 22 inches. So it's very electric car-ish. You don't have, a typical grille. And then you have kind of a light bar that goes across the front end, but it is interrupted by this section here, which I think does hide some sensors. At least you have some radar sensors here at the bottom, but a very interesting design. And also a huge fan of the Fisker logo with the colors, with the lettering. It just looks modern, it just looks fresh, it looks premium. So walking over to the side of the car, I think that the profile is very, typical SUV. It doesn't look anything like a Tesla Model Y, which is one of its main competitors. Size-wise, these cars are around the same size, but this just looks more traditional SUV and more squattish. It just looks much more squat, and that high belt line and low roof line plays into that look. You have the charging port here on the front side. And also, guys, I'm going to do a test drive video of this car also, but this video is just, my first impressions, my first view. It also has, the door handles that do pop out from the body and go flush with the body once you start driving. And also, quite nice and angular wheel arches. And also, this is kind of cool, this side marker design here. For US cars, at least, side markers are mandatory. You can see it has side markers on the front wheel arch there. And that's not mandatory here in Europe. That's why you don't see a lot of European cars with it. But it is typical for, Fisker being an American company. This car is though built in Austria, and that's why you see, these markers. And I think that's a cool, interesting way to do it. Then we have the rear end, which may just be one of the most attractive rear ends of any SUV out there today. It is very distinct and does look very good with those light bars. Again, a very clean design. You have the Fisker logo, you have the Ocean model name below that, and then you have just a little bit of plastic breaking it up. This car can be optioned with a tow hook. I think it's 1,830 kilos, which it can tow. And also it can support a roof box with 75 kilos. So for people, who live in Norway or the Nordics, towing stuff, which we love to do, and also going to the mountain with a ski box shouldn't be a problem. Overall, I'm just a huge fan of the exterior design, and looking at this car and seeing it up close and personal, it is a very attractive and well executed design. So guys, let me know what you think down below in the comment section. Do you like the design? Don't you like it? Do you like this more than other cars, or is there another electric SUV this size, this price that you like better? Now let's hop in and check out the interior, starting with the front cabin. We're going to start with the doors, and the door design isn't too exciting. Again, this is a dark interior, so it's not the most exciting, but from what I could feel, materials are quite nice. You have this soft touch plastic here on top of the door, and then you have like this fabric here, which is very nice, breaks up that a little bit, and then you have this yeah, soft touch plastic here lower down in the door, and then you have the armrest also, which is also soft touch. Switchgear does look a bit cheap though. Oh, now I close all the windows, I don't want to do that. So the switchgear does look a little bit cheap, but it's not too bad. I mean, this isn't a very expensive car. I think in Norway, this you know, this is the Extreme with the big battery pack, with the you know, dual electric motors. Starts from like 600,000 kroners for the Fisker Ocean. The Extreme is a little bit more expensive. That is fully spec, but it is nice for what it is. I mean, nice materials down here also. Is first when you're down here that you have hard touch plastics. And then you have the rest of the interior. So the seat design also quite interesting. Yeah, I mean, they're kind of plain and simple. You have they are in Alcantara, and then you have this white stripe here in the middle, which just brightens it up a little bit. And then you have the headrest here. The rest of the interior is vegan leather. I also believe the steering wheel to be vegan leather. So let's hop in and check out what this looks like. So this is kind of cool. You have a small screen here, like you would on, you know, the Mustang Mach-E, the new Volvo EX90. It's a nice screen with all your information that you need there. On top of the dashboard, again, soft touch plastics, and then you have an interesting, oh, this is interesting, this material here. It kind of feels almost like leathery. So that is nice. And then you have traditional stocks here, and then you have your gear selector, which you put your foot on the brake, the ignition goes on, and then you can go to drive, reverse, and then you have a 360 camera. And then you can press park. Traditional two-spoke steering wheel design where you have, you know, your audio buttons on the left side, and then you have your adaptive cruise control buttons on your right side. Interestingly enough, the Fisker logo on the steering wheel is a little bit reflective, but also it's not colored. It's like monochrome almost. And I think that is probably a you know, choice they made so you don't have too much bright colors in your face. So I don't mind that at all. Then you have the central screen. This is 17.1 inches, if I'm not mistaken. And it is in this portrait mode, but it has something also called Hollywood mode. If you press this button here and hold it in for 3 seconds, the screen will rotate. And then you can watch films, you can watch movies in landscape mode, which is pretty awesome, but you cannot drive the car this way. It's only for, you know, sitting when you're charging, it's only for, you know, watching movies and stuff like that. So I believe if you know, let's see if we press it again, it will go back. Yeah, then it goes back. So I haven't played too much with the infotainment system. I don't have a lot of time with this car, but it's a very tall screen, so you do have a lot of real estate. The maps here, the navigation system, is by TomTom, and it does have route planning. It does not have preconditioning yet, but that is something that's going to come with a future software update. Also no Apple CarPlay, no Android Auto, but you do have, let's see if we press the right button here, you do have apps. You can download, it has Spotify, it has YouTube and stuff like that. And for me at least, if the built-in navigation system, you know, with the route planning is good, I don't mind not having Apple CarPlay because I like using Spotify natively in that sense. So I'm just going to press around here a little bit, not too much. Here you have a charging screen, but again, I'm going to, you know, do a test drive video of this car after I'm finished filming this. And yeah, WLTP rated range of this top trim model is 707 kilometers. And down here below, you have physical buttons for the HVAC system. So that is very welcome and something I absolutely do like. Dual wireless chargers, dual cup holders, and this is pretty cool here. So you press this button, and then you have a table. So if your passenger, you know, needs to store stuff, wants to work on a laptop, that is great. More cars, especially electric cars, you know, should have that. I've been traveling to, so I'm in Stockholm now, at Fisker here outside of Stockholm. I've just been to Finland, so I've been traveling a lot, been to Helsinki, been to Kempower, there in Lahti. So I've been sitting at the ferries at each end, waiting. I've also charged a lot and been waiting. And in that time, I like to work, right? Because, you know, pulling out my laptop and trying to be efficient. And in the XC40 I've driven, it's not very easy because, I mean, the cabin isn't the most spacious, but you have nowhere to put your laptop. This does, if you even are the driver. Check this out, guys. So I'm just going to turn the screen around so I can see myself here. Check this out. Armrest. You have a table. Check this out. This is pretty awesome. So here you have a work surface, so you can work on a laptop. You can swivel this around. So I think you could do like, yeah. Oh, you could this way. I was just doing it the wrong way. So you can swivel it around either way in front of you. You can have, you know, your laptop here, and it says maximum 5 kilos. My laptop is a lot lighter than that. So that is really cool that you have this table here that you can, you know, fold and stow away when you're not using it. But when you want to, you know, work on your laptop or other stuff, maybe you just want to eat, you drive through is also another thing that people like to eat in their car. Having a table, having somewhere to store things is just great. Now let's check out the rear seats. Again, this is a competitor to the Tesla Model Y, and I have to say that the rear seats are very spacious. So I'm sat behind myself now. I have plenty of, you know, knee room, leg room, foot room, plenty of headroom is not the most. I mean, I'm almost touching with my hair on the left side here, but it's not too bad. I'm 5'10", sat behind myself, so about an average adult, 178 centimeters, and I fit fine here. But maybe if you're like above 6 foot, 6'1", and you have a tall torso, maybe this could be an issue. But, you know, otherwise the bench is very flat, which is very practical if you have a child seat. You have ISOFIX points here on the outboard seats, and you have a very flat floor and tons of room here. Like the middle passenger is going to be super comfortable. And then you have a button here called California mode, and that opens up the massive panoramic sunroof. I don't think I've seen this big of a sunroof on an electric car or a car before. And then it opens all the windows, and most cool, it opens the rear window. That is pretty awesome. So on a warm summer day, you just press that California mode, drops all the windows, opens the sunroof and that rear window also. Lastly, let's check out the trunk. So the Fisker Ocean doesn't have a frunk, but it has a trunk. You have a button down there, and then it's electric opening tailgate, 470 liters, so not the biggest. This is, you know, my only gripe about this car that people may have, that it's, you know, not the biggest trunk, but for a lot of people 470 liters is still plenty enough with a little bit of underfloor storage. And also here you have like 230 volts, so this is, you know, your normal power outlet for your house, and you also have 12 volt outlets there. So there we go, guys. That was my first impressions, my first look at this, the Fisker Ocean. I think it is a pretty cool car, and I'm kind of glad I waited until now to get a proper, you know, walkthrough by the sales guy here called Aiden. So if you're coming here to check out a Fisker Ocean, holler at Aiden. He is a really cool guy who knows his stuff and gave me a full tour of this car and showed me all of its niceties. And I think at this price point, this is a very competitive car. But how it drives, well, I don't know yet, because I think that's going to be, you know, the big yes or no, and that will be in the next video. So guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please drop me a thumbs up down below, and for more car content, as always, please subscribe. See you guys later, and goodbye.